Ezekiel chapter 28. Yahweh's word came again to me, saying, Son of man, tell the prince of Tyre, the Lord Yahweh says. Because your heart is lifted up, and you have said, I am a god. I sit in the seat of God, in the middle of the seas. Yet you are man, and no God. Though you set your heart as the heart of a god, behold, you are wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that is hidden from you. By your wisdom and by your understanding you have gotten yourself riches, and have gotten gold and silver into your treasuries. By your great wisdom, and by your trading you have increased your riches. And your heart is lifted up because of your riches, therefore the Lord Yahweh says. Because you have set your heart as the heart of God, therefore, behold, I will bring strangers on you, the terrible of the nations. They will draw their swords against the beauty of your wisdom. They will defile your brightness. They will bring you down to the pit. You will die the death of those who are slain in the heart of the seas. Will you yet say before him who kills you, I am God? But you are man, and not God. In the hand of him who wounds you, you will die the death of the uncircumcised, by the hand of strangers. For I have spoken it, says the Lord Yahweh. Moreover Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation over the king of Tyre, and tell him, the Lord Yahweh says. You were the seal of full measure, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you. Ruby, topaz, emerald, chrysolite, onyx, jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and beryl. Gold work of tambourines and of pipes was in you. They were prepared in the day that you were created. You were the anointed cherub who covers. Then I set you up on the holy mountain of God. You have walked up and down in the middle of the stones of fire. You were perfect in your ways from the day that you were created, until unrighteousness was found in you. By the abundance of your commerce, your insides were filled with violence, and you have sinned. Therefore I have cast you as profane out of God's mountain. I have destroyed you, covering cherub. From the middle of the stones of fire, your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You have corrupted your wisdom by reason of your splendor. I have cast you to the ground. I have laid you before kings, that they may see you, by the multitude of your iniquities. In the unrighteousness of your commerce, you have profaned your sanctuaries. Therefore I have brought out a fire from the middle of you. It has devoured you. I have turned you to ashes on the earth. In the sight of all those who see you, all those who know you among the peoples will be astonished at you. You have become a terror, and you will exist no more. Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face toward Sidon, and prophesy against it, and say, The Lord Yahweh says. Behold, I am against you, Sidon. I will be glorified among you. Then they will know that I am Yahweh, when I have executed judgments in her, and am sanctified in her. For I will send pestilence into her, and blood into her streets. The wounded will fall within her, with the sword on her on every side. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. There will no longer be a pricking briar to the house of Israel, nor a hurting thorn of any that are around them that scorned them. Then they will know that I am the Lord Yahweh. The Lord Yahweh says, When I have gathered the house of Israel from the peoples among whom they are scattered, and am shown as holy among them in the sight of the nations, then they will dwell in their own land which I gave to my servant Jacob. They will dwell in it securely. Yes, they will build houses, plant vineyards, and will dwell securely when I have executed judgments on all those around them who have treated them with contempt. Then they will know that I am Yahweh their God. Ezekiel chapter 29. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, on the 12th day of the month, Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Pharaoh king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak and say, The Lord Yahweh says, Behold, I am against you, Pharaoh king of Egypt. The great monster that lies in the middle of his rivers. That has said, my river is my own. And I have made it for myself. I will put hooks in your jaws. And I will make the fish of your river stick to your scales. I will bring you up out of the middle of your rivers. With all the fish of your rivers which stick to your scales. I'll cast you out into the wilderness. You and all the fish of your rivers. You'll fall on the open field. You won't be brought together or gathered. I have given you for food to the animals of the earth. And to the birds of the sky. All the inhabitants of Egypt will know that I am Yahweh, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Israel. When they took hold of you by your hand, you broke and tore all their shoulders. When they leaned on you, you broke and paralyzed all of their thighs. Therefore the Lord Yahweh says, Behold, I will bring a sword on you, and will cut off man and animal from you. The land of Egypt will be a desolation and a waste. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. Because he has said, The river is mine, and I have made it, therefore, behold, I am against you and against your rivers. I will make the land of Egypt an utter waste and desolation, from the tower of Sevene even to the border of Ethiopia. No foot of man will pass through it, nor will any animal foot pass through it. It won't be inhabited for 40 years. I will make the land of Egypt a desolation in the middle of the countries that are desolate. Her cities among the cities that are laid waste will be a desolation 40 years. I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and will disperse them through the countries. For the Lord Yahweh says, At the end of 40 years I will gather the Egyptians from the peoples where they were scattered. I will reverse the captivity of Egypt, and will cause them to return into the land of Pathros, into the land of their birth. There they will be a lowly kingdom. It will be the lowest of the kingdoms. It won't lift itself up above the nations any more. I will diminish them so that they will no longer rule over the nations. It will no longer be the confidence of the house of Israel, bringing iniquity to memory, when they turn to look after them. Then they will know that I am the Lord Yahweh. It came to pass in the 27th year, in the first month, in the first day of the month, Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon caused his army to serve a great service against Tyre. Every head was made bald, and every shoulder was worn, yet he had no wages, nor did his army, from Tyre, for the service that he had served against it. Therefore the Lord Yahweh says, Behold, I will give the land of Egypt to Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon. He will carry off her multitude, take her plunder, and take her prey. That will be the wages for his army. I have given him the land of Egypt as his payment for which he served, because they worked for me, says the Lord Yahweh. In that day I will cause a horn to sprout for the house of Israel, and I will open your mouth among them. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. Ezekiel chapter 30. Yahweh's word came again to me, saying, Son of man, prophesy, and say, The Lord Yahweh says. Wail, alas for the day! For the day is near. Even Yahweh's day is near. It will be a day of clouds. A time of the nations. A sword will come on Egypt. And anguish will be in Ethiopia. When the slain fall in Egypt, they take away her multitude. And her foundations are broken down. Ethiopia, Put, Lud, all the mixed people, Cub, and the children of the land that is allied with them, will fall with them by the sword. Yahweh says. They also who uphold Egypt will fall. The pride of her power will come down. They will fall by the sword in it from the tower of Sevene. Says the Lord Yahweh. They will be desolate in the middle of the countries that are desolate. Her cities will be among the cities that are wasted. They will know that I am Yahweh. When I have set a fire in Egypt, and all her helpers are destroyed. In that day messengers will go out from before me in ships to make the careless Ethiopians afraid. There will be anguish on them, as in the day of Egypt, for, behold, it comes. The Lord Yahweh says. I will also make the multitude of Egypt to cease. By the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon. He and his people with him. The terrible of the nations will be brought in to destroy the land. They will draw their swords against Egypt, and fill the land with the slain. I will make the rivers dry, and will sell the land into the hand of evil men. I will make the land desolate, and all that is therein, by the hand of foreigners. I, Yahweh, have spoken it. The Lord Yahweh says. I will also destroy the idols, and I will cause the images to cease from Memphis. There will be no more a prince from the land of Egypt. I will put a fear in the land of Egypt. I will make Pathros desolate, and will set a fire in Zoan, and will execute judgments on No. I will pour my wrath on Sin, the stronghold of Egypt. I will cut off the multitude of No. I will set a fire in Egypt. Sin will be in great anguish. No will be broken up. Memphis will have adversaries in the daytime. The young men of Avon and of Pibeseth will fall by the sword. They will go into captivity. At Tahaphnehes also the day will withdraw itself. When I break the yokes of Egypt there, the pride of her power will cease in her. As for her, a cloud will cover her, and her daughters will go into captivity. Thus I will execute judgments on Egypt. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. In the 11th year, in the 1st month, in the 7th day of the month, Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh king of Egypt. Behold, it has not been bound up, to apply medicines, to put a bandage to bind it, that it may become strong to hold the sword. Therefore the Lord Yahweh says, Behold, I am against Pharaoh king of Egypt, and will break his arms, the strong arm, and that which was broken. I will cause the sword to fall out of his hand. I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations, and will disperse them through the countries. I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, and put my sword in his hand, but I will break the arms of Pharaoh, and he will groan before the king of Babylon with the groaning of a mortally wounded man. I will hold up the arms of the king of Babylon, but the arms of Pharaoh will fall down. Then they will know that I am Yahweh when I put my sword into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he stretches it out on the land of Egypt. I will scatter the Egyptians among the nations and disperse them through the countries. Then they will know that I am Yahweh.